So, hello everyone. I am. Could you see the screen? Or could you read it? Okay. So I'm Jan Machala. I work as a software engineer in MSD for 5+ years, and I would like to show you how we test our tests and what is the mutation testing. So there is a. Do you know this pyramid? Have you ever seen it? I hope you are developers, so you saw it. So this is a testing pyramid. Everyone knows what is that, probably. Do you know the other side of it? So it's an ice cream. That's when you do not much testing, but you do a lot of manual testing. So it's called ice cream testing pyramid. So basically, this is like enterprise software. This is more agency development. You just make something in 3 months. Then you throw a bunch of testers on it, and you release it. And that is the official term, ice cream, for it. Do you know any other testing approaches or variants instead of end-to-end integration unit?
I know of one. No testing.
No testing. Okay.
Just releasing.
Just releasing. That's probably a ChatGPT way this time. Do you know, like, yes?
User-based testing. You release something and wait for your users to work on it.
Yeah, wild feedback from the users.
Sometimes it happens that you just miss the integration testing and you have only end-to-end and then unit testing but no integration.
Do you know the performance testing? Did anyone try performance testing? Or visual testing? Accessibility testing, like automated or manual? Wow, okay. Penetration testing. Okay, so I will show you another way. Just brief, the unit test. What is the unit test? So basically you want to test only the smallest part of your code, and you want to rely on that unit over the time. So you rather test it better than worse, right? And because you want to combine it into multiple variants and compose it, so it's good to have like the unit test in the proper way. And what I usually struggle, or not me, but a lot of mentees, if they need to write a unit test, basically what they need to test, like normally usually they just figure out, okay, happy path, maybe some one input, output, and how they decide that this is the end, I cover the functionality. It's usually by you cover all the conditions or exceptions, or do you test for the global state or internal exceptions or the code coverage? How to decide when to stop? It's hard to assess, and you basically need code review to tell to someone that you need to put more tests or less, or you covered enough. So I will show you an example application, and it's called RoboBar. It's some bar for robots from the future that they want to buy something. So I will run the demo. This is the specific kind of presentations you never should do. Let's do with a demo. Right. And okay, I will try if it works. Let's see. Yeah, so this is the application. What you can do, it's like basic application. You have some drinks, you put some numbers, and then you want to submit the order, and you can see how much it costs together. You provide the age, so I am just 15. And I cannot buy the alcohol, even I am just 15 years old robot, I cannot buy the alcohol, so I should probably have at least like 30 plus. And then that's all what the application does. And any question to it? No. Okay. So this application have also some tests. So I will run the test, and let's see how the application is with the testing. Can you read it?
It's just maybe if you can just move like
Self.
the whole,
I move whole self to some.
just a bit. Yeah, thank you. I think it's better.
Okay, is it better?
Sorry.
I will move this as well. Okay, so you can see this is an ideal application. It has 100 coverage of the test. Do you know what is a code coverage metric?
Yeah.
It's a metric from 1963. And basically it just tells you how many lines were processed during execution of a test. And there is a lot of other variants how to measure the coverage of the test, and it evolves all on the time. But you can see that this application is pretty well tested, so there should be no bugs and no problems. Let's see. So let's move to the next slide. So I will talk about the mutation testing with a special tool which arrived into JavaScript, and that's called Striker Mutator. What is it? It's an application, it's a tool which can test your test. What it does, it provides some, basically it introduces the changes in your code base and then run your test suite. And if the change is covered by the test and test fail, then you basically kill the mutant you put inside. If the test suite does not fail, the mutant survive, and you might have like something uncovered in your code base. And the mutations, it generates a lot of different variants of your code base, and basically it tests all your test suites. So what kind of mutants you can expect? So I will show you a mutant. Wait. So for example, you can see that there is like, what he does, he tried to change the age, change this sharp arrow into the other one, and test your test. You will run the test. He also tries to change false to true, and he can get even more complicated over time. So it's like he put the exceptions, he vanished the strings, or changed the strings, or remove function, and he just tests if your test suite still is green or not. Yeah, so let's try the tool then. Because the developer, it's actually interesting open source, because it's paid by some company. The guy who implemented, they use it within their company, and he received the money for it together with probably some other people. So it's like, well, the open source in an ideal way. He loved it, and he developed it and get the money, which is good. So let's take a look how to install the tool. That's the hardest part of the demo usually. So he cared about the developer experience. So you should only run Striker init, and it will do all the magic. Let's see. I previously installed the Striker as a global tool in the NPM. So I hope it's still there. So there is a questionnaire. So could you see it? Actually, it's somewhere here down. No? Okay, so let's try this way. Is it better this way? So he asks you if you use some particular framework or not. So you say, no. Do you use some special test engine? Because it does not matter much which test engine. So I think I have Jest this time. And which kind of reporter, like what kind of outputs you want to see from the tool. Which package manager do you use? And he will generate a configuration file. So I like JSON, right? Yeah. And now he basically discovered which packages he needs, and he installed it in the background for you. So you don't need to grab and find the needed packages for the TypeScript, for the JS and everything. Yeah, some vulnerabilities, nice. Okay, so now I have initiated the tool, which means I am somewhere here. I will copy something here. I need to adjust a little bit the configuration, so it's compatible with the tool, and this can be Striker. So this is the file, configuration file, so he provides you even the schema, so it auto-completes in the editor, so you can quite easily configure it more. And I need to put here a command which basically said something special for the Node.js. Let's format it. Yeah. And with this, I should be able to run the tool. Let's see what it does. So you can see he found some files to mutate because he has some default files which to check. He found some default test files, and then he ran the mutations. How does it work? Basically, he generates a lot of mutations, like variants of the code. He copied the code base like 10 times, and then he ran the 10 times test suites. So he like do a lot of work in parallel. What we get is this mutation report, which is nice page which shows you the mutation score. So you saw the 100 code coverage. So now he told me that the mutation score is 57. What does it mean? It basically just how many he killed and how many mutants survived. So it's a ratio. If you kill more, you have better score. Then there are also other columns which we can talk later on. But let's take a look on some concrete service. For example, the drink service. So let's go to drinks, and there is a drink service. So what it does, it's simple. It's super simple. It just get and fetch something. But the Striker tried to put here, instead of the API endpoint, only the empty string, and the test failed. Oh, test didn't fail because the test did not catch it that, okay, the API endpoint could change. I can show you the test for it. It would be the drink service, drink service spec. What does it do? It basically puts some drinks in it, mock it, and then get the drinks. He called the class here. Yeah. If I get into here, he basically just read it, right? But it doesn't work. So does someone know how to test it better? I will tell you how. We don't need to figure it out. So basically, I will try to tell him that he should also check for the API URL here. So now, if I run the test suite, go back, and I will use a magic called incremental. So it will a little speed up the execution, because now he put the mutations in the code in some deterministic way. So he can, if you run it multiple times, you get still same mutants in it. I did something wrong. Probably. Let's see. You need to have green tests, otherwise it doesn't work. Otherwise it doesn't work. Yeah, okay, expected. I need to put it somewhere else. Yeah, so I did it wrong. Sorry. Yeah, so this should be changed. Sorry. But you can see what happens if you don't have green tests. Now it should be better. Nope. Nope. Yes? No? That's... That's the hard part.
This is always the tricky part when you
Yeah,
do some lot
okay.
live coding.
So you need to trust me. Now, anyway, yeah, I will take it back. What's wrong with this? Did I change something else? No, that's it. Parse error. Import. What import? Okay, let's forget about this for a while. I will have another one. Anyway, the score would improve, and this would be 100 mutation score. I have it fixed in some other branch, so we can see it later on. So now I will show you another part. It's this drinks summary pipe, which is in the pipes, and it's drinks summary, and it has now score 60. So what you can see, I will show you which mutants he tried, and we were able to kill them with the tests. So basically he tried to just remove whole function, and the tests find it out, which is good. Then he tried to remove the lambda function from the reduce, yeah, catched, returning only empty string, catched, total change to true, catched, otherwise, yes, most of it was catched. So let's see what he didn't catch. Where are the mutants? So he tried to remove the optional parameter from here. He tried to change to minus, and no one apparently tested. And also he tried to false. Okay, and I will take a look on the test, because we have the drink summary pipe, and I think we have a test for it, for the pipes. So drink summary pipe spec. This is a test case for it. You can see he tests like that. I have one drink and I have 0 drinks. But if we take a look on the report, what it says is that if he put false, that this is somehow problematic, but I have covered like more drinks and less drinks, like 0 drinks and 1 drink, 0 drink and 1 drinks, or 2 drinks. Okay, so what's the problem? Could you see it in the test? The test, I will help you, the test is wrong, not the code.
Container.
Yes, what should be there? Exactly. So let's put there equal and try to run it once more. You can see it's faster. Yay, 90. So we basically catch the bug in the test now. Okay. I will now move to another slide. If you have, do you have any question?
I've got a question.
Okay.
Actually, I've got 2 questions. One, wouldn't make it more brittle, your test, if you start testing for what's the name of the endpoint, or you would check on the data now? That would kind of, if the endpoint changes, you update your test, I guess.
So
I answered the question myself. So maybe the second question would be, if you need to generate some data now, I know for testing usually you use probably some mocks or some mock data, but those get stale, right? like generators, and then if you use generators, maybe to generate some like specific data in time with correct timestamps and so on, then I guess you need a way how to configure the striker not to mess with your generators because you need to kind of rely on them, right?
The random generated data we use a lot actually. It would be a separate talk. You can make the randomized data static, so you can be able to run the striker once more with the seeded data, so it would be like stable for you.
Right. Okay. You would split it like in 2 steps, basically.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. Cheers.
Okay, so I will move
Maybe
to.
one more question.
Okay.
What is that test for removal a function for? Because I can't see the reason why the function should be removed, or why should I test that?
If you, for example, you have you have some HTTP connector, and you never test the closing function in your tests. So he tries to remove it, and no tests fail. So basically, you are not testing the closing of a connection.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
Could be a problem. Or you don't test that you throw there the exception, but he removed the function, and you never catch the exception and nowhere in your test.
But
So
that's weird that you can't see that in your test coverage from that normal just test, because then the function coverage shouldn't be 100%, right?
Yes, it should be.
Just asking.
It should be.
Maybe it depends on what you think is the purpose of testing. If you think about it as a black box testing, this brings this idea. Okay, my idea is that the unit test is there for the purpose that I need to test the minimum functionality that this part of code is supposed to handle. Not everything that can happen anytime. I am testing like function or something like this, and my idea is this function is okay if it does this, and this.
Yeah, you can basically, with these reports, you can assess what's the level for you, what you want to still cover and what not. So it's like another tool which can help you with this assessment. And if you really don't care that it's optional, you just don't test it, right? Or if you don't care that it should not work for this or exception, you are not just catching the exceptions.
For example, switching plus for minus is strange.
You can think about it as well that you will get a junior developer in 2 years who will just randomly go and change the things, and if your tests are not covering, he will break stuff. That's another level of you can think that Striker is here and now, and he can try to be that person in 2 years who is trying to break your software which he never saw before. So you can assess if you care about that plus and minus, rather write a test than just sorry. Yes.
How does it interact with something like Istanbul ignore or
Sorry.
Istanbul ignore?
Istanbul.
Isn't that a common JavaScript thing where you ignore testing of a coverage of a file, for example, or a file or the next?
So it can also use the code coverage.
Yeah.
So there is this column with the coverage. So it can also use the coverage, and tell you cover it, but it's still failing. So it's more warning for you.
Okay. Does it also respect something like a just config file, I ignore the sample file?
Yes, in this you can basically put in the configuration of the Striker. You can put here the config file or anything. So it's and it's independent on the framework. If you have your own test runner, I would say let's think about the robot framework. Someone said it today to me. So you can put there your own command which would run the test suite, and you will just shuffle with the backend, for example, behind that, and you can still get the coverage report. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. If you didn't know the ice cream, so maybe you don't know the trophy. Do you know the trophy? Okay, so that's yet another testing pyramid. It's called testing trophy, and what does it say? It's like a shifting, basically, you are shifting more to the static tests, to do like PHP stan or TypeScript, or like this thing which catch your bugs in the compilation. So that's called the trophy. So then, if you have more like static checking, you don't need so many unit tests, basically. And it can, maybe you have the experience. Does it work if you use the TypeScript? Is it like better? Do you cover more or less tests? Do you write tests for various inputs, or you just trust its string? Probably just trust, or it's enum, you trust it. So you don't test like...
It depends on what is the data source, right?
Of course. You will put some validation, and then you trust the value. You don't test anymore like the various inputs if you have some validation.
If it's like internal, that one function calls another, and it's covered by TypeScript, then I can trust it.
Yeah. Okay, so how to use this trophy with... let's try to add to our code the TypeScript. I will try it. So we have here nice command called npm no just to be sure on the correct branch. I will add the TypeScript now. If it works, of course. Yes, it works. I'm not sure if I have the tsconfig. I don't have the tsconfig.
So it seems it has some plugins which you can use, right?
Yes, it supports TypeScript as well. So it's quite well prepared. We can take a look on the plugins in the meantime. So for the JavaScript, you can use these various test runners, so like Karma, Mocha, Jest, Cucumber, and you can use the TypeScript. They call it a checker. You can put there some other checks than just the TypeScript if you have some, and then there is like the description how to install and how to configure it. So let's take a look. I will try to run just like, let's see. Okay, and I will run the striker and pray. So how does it work? He usually does like first run, like on the beginning, and then he runs the test in the parallel. So we are on 55. Does someone remember what we had before? We started with 52 or something like that. Yeah. He prints out the 57. So it little improved the experience. And what is now new on this report, it's this column. So basically he tried change the code, but the TypeScript catch the problem, right? That the type is wrong. So basically we just need less tests now. Let's take a look on the component, some of them. So this has some runtime. So let's take a look what was the runtime. So he changed here, and this was some static mutant variant. There was also here he changed also like the name of a function, name of the component. So it was also catched by the TypeScript and many other things. But what is interesting is that he basically catched a lot of other new things. We were here in the orders in the drink service. Now it's covered 100 because he used this JS doc for the TypeScript check. And this is much harder now. And I think I'm almost in the end of the presentation. I can show you the example from our project. Basically, we just converted a file from JavaScript to TypeScript, no addition, nothing, and we just improved the score by 10%. So basically, this is like the answer for a manager question like why we need a TypeScript. I would say like we don't need so much tests if you have a TypeScript, and there is the proof which I was not ever able to provide it to them. That I can catch much more mutants. And that's probably all. If you have some, there is a feedback, please. If you if you felt some pain during the presentation, please provide it here. Or if you feel eager to join us, there is this nice position you can join.
Do you have any questions?
And questions, please.
Yeah, in what phase of development would you use this tool? Would
So-
it be would I use it when I'm doing development? Would it be part of the CI/CD pipeline? Where do you usually use this?
I use it during the development. So I can do the assessment of if the function or the test needs to be improved or what I missed, basically. You can put like not a whole test suite, but just concrete file. You can pick just concrete tests which needs to run, and it will identify for you the most of the problems. And of course, if you run it in the pipeline, be prepared. It will be longer than your unit test suite because it will run like 10 processes in parallel and try a lot of variants. So, but there is the incremental mode now, so you can use some caching for it and improve it over time.